Okay, go ahead and move the left throttle out of the cutoff detent and pull it back to the idle stop. This will begin the startup sequence. As that is happening, we are going to watch the engine instruments for any abnormalities. You will hear the master caution come on for the APU gen, so just push the master caution light on the UFC to silence it, as it is normal. Let me know when that engine is up and the engine start cycle light is off on the caution panel, indicating that the startup process for that engine is complete. Copy.
Okay, and I've already stepped ahead and have the throttle pulled out of the cutoff, back against the idle stop. I'm just watching temperatures, RPMs, oil pressure, fuel flow, fan speed all come on up. And it's all going to stabilize here in a second. I'm just going to watch for the engine start cycle light to go off. That's going to tell me that the start cycle has completed. There's the, as expected, master caution for the generator, left generator kicking in. That's just advisory telling me that I have a generator run by the engine on at the same time as my APU generator. So it's a little bit double kill. That's a good start on 1. And his space.
Engine 1 is up and good. Alright, so now we need to cycle the flight controls. We're going to look for free and correct movement. So go ahead and move your ailerons, elevators, and rudders. If that's good, go ahead and start your number 2 engine in the same way you did as number 1, and let me know when you have a good start.
Okay, clear 4.5 on 2. That was a good flight control check. And here come the engine instruments. And everything's looking good. I've also been looking around, incidentally here. It's my first flight on the new revamped Nevada Test and Training Range terrain. There were some little tweaks made to Nellis. I was sort of in the external scooting around earlier. I mean, for one thing, the A-10s are now facing into the berm in front of us, which is the way they should be. Also, the berms they used to be a little bit jagged. Now they're leveled off, just like an earth berm should be. We've got new grass to look at. It's actually looking pretty neat. And okay, I've got a good start. Space.
Both engines are up. Alright, so going back to the oxygen stuff on the environmental panel, we're going to make sure that the emergency and diluter levels are in their normal positions. Supply lever is on and the flow indicator is working.
Okay, flow indicators, little white indicator you see blinking on and off. That's good. Space.
All that is good. Okay, here in the checklist is where we would normally get the radios on and set, but we've already done that, so we're going to go ahead and move on to making sure that the crossfeed switch is in the off position. You will find the crossfeed switch on the fuel system control panel.
And crossfeed is off.
Set. And just to the left of that, we're going to make sure that the emergency brake handle is in the full forward position. Check. Going back onto the right console, you will find the ILS and TACAN control panels. Set your TACAN mode selector switch to TR and turn the ILS on by moving the left bezel into the power position. Also set your TACAN for 12 X-ray and dial into 109.1 on the ILS. Okay, so now we need to check the signal lights one more time, just like we did before, looking for all the bright flashing lights and the noise coming through the helmet. After we're done with that, we're going to cycle the flaps through their full range of movement. First, we will drop them 1 notch down into the takeoff position, then we will go full down. After they stop moving, we'll bring them all the way back in.
Okay, and the second check here is just for stuff that needs AC, alternating current power off the engine generators. So this second test will get those. And now we have absolutely everything in the cockpit lit. And it also told me to cycle the flaps. So they start in the down position. I'm just going to cycle them up. Back to full down. And I forget exactly what he told me to do. In the description there, I'm going to leave them in the intermediate takeoff position and press space.
Lamps and flaps are good.
We're now going to test the speed brake emergency retract. There are several things that need to happen either at the same time or very close together. While commanding open on the speed brakes, flip the emergency retract switch into the emergency retract position. While still holding open, verify that the boards have stopped in their movement. Now try and close them. Again, they should not move.
Check. No movement.
Alright, now go ahead and return the emergency retract switch into its original and unmarked position. Slightly close the speed brakes, then stop them. Now go ahead and fully open the speed brakes, and once they are fully open, cycle the ailerons looking for free and correct movement. And after you're done with that, fully close the boards, do a quick check on your hydraulic pressure, make sure it's good, and that's it.
Okay, good. Hydraulic pressure's good, and that was just a check basically of a valve that when you flip the switch, it cuts off the hydraulic flow to the speed brakes and then vents the return line, so airflow is going to close the speed brakes if there's a malfunction in the controls. So yeah, good to go. Actually, if I remember to do it on the flight here, I'll try that. I don't think I've ever actually tried to use that switch in the air.
Okay, everything worked as designed and pressures are good.
Good, back to the easy stuff. Okay, go ahead and turn on the anti-skid, which is going to be located just above the landing gear indicator light. After you've done that, engage the 4 SAS switches on the left console, just to the left of your throttle. And since you're on the SAS panel, depress and hold the takeoff trim button until you see the indicator above it light up.
Alright, set.
Alright, going back to the front dash, underneath of the left MFCD, you will find the AHCP, also known as the Armament HUD Control Panel. Here we need to put the IFC switch into test, and the JTRS and TACVIEW switches both into their respective on positions. Also, we're going to turn on both MFCDs, and eventually these will default to the DCS upload page. Once that page is pulled up on either MFCD, we're going to press OSB10 labeled Load All, and this will start the DTS upload process.
Standby 1.
Okay, DTS upload, and I believe it said to go ahead and press load all. I am anyway. Space.
Okay, I just pressed load all.
Okay, once you have pressed load all, you will see the asterisks next to everything disappear. 15 seconds or thereabouts later, they will all reappear. This indicates that the DTC was successfully uploaded onto the jet.
Okay, I see the asterisks are back, so the DTC is loaded.
Now, once that is done, we're going to press OSB12 on the left. MFCD should be labeled STAT, and we're going to go through that and check for MFL.
Okie doke, status page. Maintenance fault log empty. I'll just check everything. Everything is showing in the green also. But yeah, I was really worried about there with the MFLs. Space.
Okay, done.
And those would just flag if there were anything detected wrong with any of the
Cool.
systems on the
left
aircraft.
MFCD, press OSB 15 to bring up the TAD, and on the right MFCD, press OSB 13 to bring up the CDU repeater.
Okay, good and good. And I can see that my INS alignment is done as well.
Okay, done.
Right on. The INS alignment should now be finished, so if you would verify that you see 4.0, 0.8 on the CDU towards the bottom next to where it says T equals. You should also see INS nav ready flashing at the top.
Affirm.
Okay, on the CDU, depress the right line select 3 key for nav. Then when you have done that, place the steer point rotary dial into the flight plan settings. Then on the nav mode select panel ahead of the joystick, press the EE button and verify the steer as well.
Alright, set.
Okay, on most sorties, here is where we would get the TGP and our countermeasures set up, but since we're not going to be using either of those today, we'll just move on and we will check our flight instruments. So we're going to start this by first turning the large gray knob in the lower right corner of our ADI. While turning that knob, we are going to check the ADI for movement. After we are done with that, we're going to realign the arrow on the knob with the reference mark on the ADI.
If I'd noticed it, I had never given a second thought to that reference mark right there. Although it's always aligned, I've really never had a reason to mess with it. Neat. Okay.
That's good.
Okay, next we're going to uncage the standby attitude indicator by cranking the knob in the lower right until we see the flag stow. We will then align the aircraft symbol to the horizon and it should be good. After you've done that, please verify that the vertical velocity and airspeed indicators both read 0.
Good.
Alright, next we're going to run the bit on the FC, so using the UFC, push the enter button and let it do its thing. Providing you have no grounding bit faults, let me know when you're ready and we will proceed to the next step.
And that's good, and space.
Alright, the bit is finished and we're good. Sweet, go ahead and move the FC switch into the on position at this time, please.
Check.
Alright, now set your altimeter for 2995. And first turn off the APU generator, then the APU.
Done.
Okay, now we need to do the idle core RPM check. To do this, we are going to rapidly advance the throttles and return them back to idle. Again, you're going to do this very quickly. We will need to go from idle to mill and back to idle like boom, boom, boom. As we do this, though, you need to verify that we do not exceed 70% for either motor. Also, while you're doing this, make sure you hold the brakes so the aircraft doesn't roll or jump out of the chocks.
Okay, gotcha. And this is where I always insert my impassioned plea to developers to, for the love of God, include chocks as an option on aircraft. A lot of aircraft modules have them, but in situations like this, it's just an uncomfortable feeling that if I have just a minute lapse in concentration at any time, I'm going to find myself up there running over that Humvee. Okay, so looking at core RPM on that middle left bank, up to full, chop it back. Yeah, right there at 70, so that's good enough for me. Space.
Both motors are good.
Right on. Put the EAC switch behind the throttles into the arm position, please. Arm. Okay, so next we're going to set up the saddle or situational awareness data link. So on the left MFCD on the TAD page, we're going to press OSB 10, which should be labeled net. And on the right-hand side of that page, we should see two blocks, one own and the other group. Today we are going to use a group ID of 01, and I will take 01 for my own ID, while you will take 03 for your own ID. So on the UFC, I need you to type in 01, and then hit OSB 8 for group, and you should see that 01 you typed pop into that block. Do the same thing for your own ID, again 03 for your own, but this time press OSB 7 to input that 03 you just typed into the correct spot.
Alright, saddle is set.
Okay, so I just seen your aircraft symbol on my TAD go from green to blue, indicating that you are now part of my group. We'll go over that and all things TAD on a different sortie, just not today.
Copy that.
Okay, back up on the UFC, press the function key followed by the number 0, and that should get you into the CDU steer point info page. Once you've done that, we should be good to roll. Let me know when you're ready for taxi.
Okay, function 0, steer point page on the CDU and the repeater. And this is very nice so far. Okay, let's press space.
Set and ready for taxi.
Copy. Stand by for taxi clearance.
2.
Ground, Tusk 2, taxi 2 A-10s with hotel from Thunder to 03 left. Tusk 2, Nellis ground, taxi Charlie Golf and Alpha, hold short 03 right. Clear, Charlie Golf, Alpha, hold short to 03 right, Tusk 2-1. Okay, press the PK switch on the control column to activate your nose wheel steering. Also verify that you see that illuminated on the front dash. After that, you will need to advance your throttle slightly to get rolling. Once you're moving, do not forget to quickly apply and check the brakes, and I am going to follow you out to the active. Turn out of the chocks and just follow the ramp. 2. Oh, I forgot, but also switch your nav lights to steady and set your taxi landing lights into the taxi position. 2.
Okay, we'll go with that. And yeah, we have a map right here that's concluded with the mission Kneeboard. So it told me Charlie, Golf, Alpha. And let's see here, we're up here on the Thunder ramp. So it's just a left-hand turn out of chocks here. And yeah, we've taken this route many, many times before. Okay, so it's also telling me hold short at Alpha for final checks. Okay, got it.